So the mission today was to head to Charlottesville to do my Pitot-static and Transponder 2-year certification. Little did I know that I would be testing my Pitot-static system during the approach into Charlottesville. Weather was a little iffy, so I filed IFR, and it was definitely a good decision, as you'll see later in the video. Here we're getting ready to take off on runway 27 at Hagerstown. Nice to have an IO 550 in my Cessna 182. You'll notice that I actually lift off before the 1,000-foot markers. So right about here. Pretty day. You can see a couple of different layers of clouds. As we head west, you'll see the mountains and some of the low-level clouds. As I was heading south, I passed over Charlottesville at about 6,000 feet. I was with ATC. I could actually look down and see the airport through breaks in the clouds. So I was a little confused because I had heard that the last 3 flights into Charlottesville basically had to go missed. So I did call the tower and asked them for an update, and they said, yeah, visibility was still 1/4 mile with indefinite ceilings at 100 feet. So I told ATC to send me out to the hold for the RNAV runway 3. I did 1 turn in the hold and then came inbound. What's interesting here is that Part 121 and Part 141 operators, such like commercial airlines, couldn't even begin this approach because they're not legally allowed to start an approach if it's below minimums, and in this case the visibility was. But given that I could see the airport looking down, I thought, well, it was worth a shot. So basically, I decided to shoot the RNAV 3, and you can see that in the distance there on the right, a mountain, and that's an interesting landmark because you're going to see that in the next segment of this video. But at this point, I'm descending down into minimums, and you'll actually be able to see little snippets of the ground on the right here once we get a little bit lower, and definitely on the missed approach. You'll actually see some hangars and actually the main terminal at the airport off on the right side. There's those hangars right on the right, and just a second later, as I'm climbing, you'll actually see there's the airport terminal, and you actually see some planes down there. But again, notice that mountain popping up through the fog on the right there. That'll be a good landmark for the next segment of the video. What I actually did is I flew over to Shenandoah, which is about 40 miles to the west, and landed, got some fuel, had a cup of coffee, and basically turned back around and flew the exact same approach. This is the RNAV 3 into Charlottesville. As you can see, a little bit different. Also pretty interesting to see, what was under that cloud cover, because this again is the exact same approach. And you can start to make out those hangars on the right and the main terminal to the right of the runway. I fly my approaches at 90 knots, but what you'll hear here soon is you'll hear the engine starting to change pitch. And that's simply because I fly 90 knots with 10 degrees of flaps. What I'm doing now is adding in 20 and ultimately 30 degrees of flaps needed to increase engine power to keep the current glide slope, and then land. Well, I missed the 1,000-foot markers by about 200 feet, but other than that, not too bad. Successful day, all in all.